period of COVID-19 uncertainty can become an opportunity for the fashion and retail brands that are losing their in-store footfalls and sales. Do you wish to know how? Allow me to welcome Shivang Desai, who is the co-founder, CEO, and CTO at Big Things. Big Things is a deep tech startup specializing in artificial intelligence for fashion and retail, using human body AI to significantly reduce apparel waste. To learn more, let's head to Shivang. Hi, Shivang.
Hi, Soumya. Thanks for having me.
As I was discussing with you offline, that I'm particularly interested for this interview because the fashion and retail industry comes very inherent to women, and so I hope there is. As I said, I'm particularly intrigued. So I hope this interview is going to benefit me and the audiences alike.
I certainly hope so, and I hope we can do it justice.
Okay, to begin with, I'd like you to explain to us that how Big Things actually works. How are you guys striving to build simple yet well-positioned products that anyone can, quickly understand and adopt?
Great. So I'll start with what Big Things does. Intelligence company, but don't let that scare you. What we do is really, really simple. Now, when you're shopping online, if you go to an online website and you're looking at clothing, a lot of the time you don't know exactly what size you're going to need or how it's going to look and fit on you. What Big Things' technology does is right on that website itself, it allows you to take 3 pictures. You take one from the front, one from the side of your entire body, and you take one selfie of your face. This takes you about 5 seconds to do. But what this derives for you is we calculate your body measurements. We tell you exactly what size you need, how well it's going to fit you. And we also generate a virtual 3D avatar of you. So it's basically a digital version of you on screen. It's got your looks, your measurements, your features. It's practically a second you. It's a digital twin. And on this digital twin, you can then try on any clothing that you see online. So you know how it's going to look and fit. You know what size you're going to need. And at the end of it, you're absolutely sure about what you're going to buy. Not to forget that you can instantly try on hundreds of different outfits in a matter of minutes, something you just can't do in store.
Very interesting. Shivang, how can innovative AI help fashion and retail brands to, actually go out in the online space and make themselves digitally available to the customers?
So fashion and retail brands basically can use AI in many different forms. Now, what we do at Big Things uses AI to determine human body data. Now, when fashion brands are doing this, not only can they give their consumers, as I spoke about, better size options, better fit, better looks, and entire experiences cater to hyper personalization, but AI can also deliver a lot more things. One is on gathering the human body data. And for fashion and retail brands, this body data is invaluable. It helps them to rethink their entire supply chains. Now, when you have enough body data, you realize that you can design your products differently to suit your customers' body shapes and types better. You can produce only those pieces of clothing and as many pieces of each size that are actually going to sell. And this is something that becomes ultra important as a fashion brand when you're trying to optimize your supply chains, reduce wastage, and certainly when trying to become more sustainable. But in addition to all of this, fashion brands that are adopting AI can deliver personal recommendations on size, fit, looks, styling, and so many other things that make their customers so happy at the end of the day and can completely, in a short space of time, become the preferred way of shopping rather than an in-store experience.
Right. So Shivang, if you could give me a sense of how the large and small companies in the retail and fashion industry are greeting this new technology in the market. Because I'm sure not many people are aware of this coming into the market, especially in a market like India.
So in a market like India, unlike in Western markets, there was definitely more skepticism when these products were introduced. Not to say there wasn't enough skepticism in the Western markets also pre-COVID-19, but over the course of the pandemic, there was a huge reshuffle of what brands were doing and where they were deploying their budgets. So digital first strategies became extremely important over that period of time. Indian brands have also now started adopting those in a big way, but they're still a little bit behind the Western counterparts because typically India is a little bit more of a price sensitive market. And also, there's more hesitance towards technology adoption in India. So, to put big bets on technology and digital is still something that is held at arm's length, but it is getting closer and closer very quickly as we see. Now, from a large and small company perspective, we usually see that small companies are quicker to adopt because they're more nimble, they're more agile, there are fewer decision makers. If they like it and they see the value, they just do it. But with larger companies, also, we are receiving tremendous interest in India and around the world because larger companies are seeing this as an extremely important way to deliver the personalization and deliver their brand engagement to and boost that with their consumers, but also not just satisfy the front end or the point of sale, but also go in back along the entire value chain and supply chain. And this is where the big brands and big companies really benefit because they end up optimizing everything from designing to manufacturing to sales.
Awesome, awesome. And what about the audiences? So, if I talk about your audiences in India and abroad, what kind of a response have you garnered from the audiences end?
So from the audience's end, it's all the products have always been met with a little bit of the light bulb going off over the head because people are suddenly realizing that things like these are possible. They're not the realm of science fiction anymore. They used to be, but as far as Indian and Western audiences go, and I mentioned this, Western audiences have been quicker to adopt, especially in countries like the US and in Europe, where they are quicker to put their bets on technology rather than India, which has been a much more conservative market. And in any case, the fashion industry has been a very conservative industry. The biggest innovation in the past 100 years that took place in the way fashion was retailed was e-commerce. But after that, there has been no major change again in the fashion industry. So as a conservative industry embracing new technology, this is definitely seeing a much quicker adoption now than ever before. And especially from an Indian context, we have tons of Indian customers reaching out because they just think it's cool right now. They still don't absolutely realize the business benefits, but cool is good enough to get their skin in the game.
So, as you just said that they don't realize the business benefits, how are you, reaching out to the customers? What kind of strategies do you rely on to make them, understand that there are such technologies existing in the market?
Absolutely. So to get this word out to these customers and these brands, we do use a combination of digital and traditional strategies. Now, in the digital strategies, you have your usual advertising, which is things like Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram, and so on, which ends up reaching some decision makers. But but this works much better in the West. But in India, it's a little bit, as we said, a more traditional market. So this is where we are also reaching out now through trade journals, trade shows, and so on, where people who might not be aware of this technology and who might not be conversant with what it can do can instantly learn about it, at least get hooked into going to the website or going to a page and finding out a little bit more about it and seeing where the business solution lies. From just spreading the word, we also are doing a lot of webinars. Now, these webinars are with fashion councils, with export houses, IIM Calcutta, where we did a webinar with their students from their AI-powered marketing batch just a few weeks ago. So it's about nurturing and spreading the word right from the point of education all the way out to market outreach. And we find that word of mouth can't be discounted at all. It's one of the most powerful mediums out there. And if somebody somewhere hears about what we're doing, like you're listening to me right now, maybe you go out and tell a few people about it, and they go out and tell a few people about it.
I'm definitely going to tell. In fact, I was talking with my husband last night. I told him, there is this very new very new company that I'm going to. New in the sense that the kind of background and the kind of work that you do. So I was actually discussing it with him, and I'd actually want to know what all brands are you collaborating with in India?
NDAs, I can't disclose a lot of them, but there are a few brands and a few designers that we are working with already in India. Now, one that we are talking with and working with is a designer called Vaishali S in Mumbai, and a very, very well known designer. Apart from this, we are working with a few of the smaller e commerce brands in India and in talks at this point of time with many of the larger ones. But as I said before, India has not been as open a market until now. So things are only now beginning to take off in India.
I understand there is a long, long way to go, but all the very best for that. Coming
you.
to my next question, Shivang, do you feel such technologies have the potential to replace talent?
No. Now, there is something that these technologies do. These technologies are great at taking tasks that can be automated and tasks that are mundane and being able to perform those instead of the people and instead of the talent and doing it basically themselves. But that means that we don't replace the talent. We just free up the talent to focus on things that machines can't do, such as creative tasks, designing, marketing, building businesses. These are tasks that machines can't do. And we are giving talent the chance to really shine and excel at things that they could excel at rather than getting stuck doing repetitive tasks.
Makes sense. So my last question for today, Shivang, talking about the avatar synthesis, what is the future of avatars in the fashion, retail, and other sectors?
With a contactless experience and a hyper personalized experience in the fashion space. But as we go down the line, the avatar becomes akin to your digital signature. It is a version of you that exists every place. It is as ubiquitous as your email address. For example, your avatar is your digital identity now, not only for the fashion and retail industry. Until now, we were using proxies of ourselves when we are on the web. It's an email address, it's a persona, it's a profile name or your handle somewhere. But now this is where the avatars kind of take over and really bring you yourself into the digital space.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Shivang.